Hi ladies, Mitch Haus here. I'm the Director of Analytics here at Pure Romance. I'm here to talk to you today about all the new reporting that we've got out there on the COO. It's a new year, new compensation plan. There's been a lot of questions that we've gotten on the reporting. We've gotten a lot of suggestions for reports to add. We've kind of been adding as we've been going along through the months of January and February. So we wanted to go ahead and film this video and be able to talk you through the mechanics of these reports, because a lot of them are very different than the reports under the old system. But a lot of them are going to be very familiar to you, but we want to make sure that you know how the mechanics under this new system works, because it is slightly different than it used to be. So also, if you're watching this on YouTube, at the bottom here we've got a table of contents. So maybe if you're looking for help on a specific report, it'll tell you how to fast forward and get to the section you're looking for. I know that you probably want to hear me talk all day, but if you're looking for just specific information, you can go ahead and go forward with by selecting one of those links. So we'll go ahead and we'll jump in here. So just a couple of the items on the new compensation plan that are brand new are new recognition titles. We added the senior executive director level. We added senior national director and associate director. There's new requirements. We dropped the requirement for second downline counts. We added the 3-month rolling title recognition maintenance rules. We added the kicker bonus, which is really exciting. It gives everybody the opportunity to earn 6% on their first downline. We're really excited about that. New fast track program. A lot of people remember the jewelry. Well, we've actually replaced it with a free product program now. So we really want people to be encouraging their new consultants to be getting in getting in their parties right away, be selling and creating good habits early on in their career. So we want to give you a place where you can be tracking people's progress toward fast track in your first downline. Friends and family, the progressive buying discounts with the career retail sales. There's a lot of new pieces. So we want to go ahead and dive in and talk about where you can find all of these reports. So those of you that were used to the old reporting system, this is what the old reporting landing page looked like. So the new one looks very familiar. A couple things have changed places on where they are, but really the look has stayed the same. So we're going to go ahead and look at the first main workhorse report that a lot of people hit on a daily basis, the business details report. So this report can still be found in the exact same place as where it used to be. So it used to be that you had to go My Business and then go down to My Reports on that drop-down tab, and it was at the upper left-hand corner. Well, I'm happy to say you won't have to go hunting for it. It's in the exact same place. So business details report, this is what it used to look like. It had a little bit of a different layout. You could switch between the current year and the prior year and then kind of compare them year over year. Well, the new one is still in the same place. It still looks exactly the same. So this is what it looks like right now on the screen. So when you open it up, it's going to default to the current year, and the current month will be the most recent one, obviously displayed. It's still going to be totaling on the left-hand side. You've still got your personal retail sales at the very top, group retail, your sponsored recruits that you've sold kits to, and then how many of those have activated in each one of the months. We've got your first downline retail amount, and then under first downline retail amount, we've got your kicker bonus retail. So that's the retail sales of your personally sponsored recruits that you've brought on since Founders Day 2017 going into 2018. Those people count toward your kicker bonus. So any retail sales that they did, that's what the percentage is going to be based on. Now, percentage is going to shift based on your paid out level for the month. We'll go ahead and we'll get to that, but that's the retail amount that it'll be based on. So under that, you've got second through fifth downline retail amounts right there. Then we get into the override. So it's still in the same order. It goes first downline override, kicker bonus override, and then second through fifth. Now, keep in mind this is going to be dynamically calculating depending on your current paid at level in the month. So if you can earn up to say level 5 and you've currently fulfilled the criteria for level 4, those are the percentages that are going to be calculating on there. The second that you switch over to level 5, it'll start updating from that point. Some of the updates, by the way, can take about an hour to 2 hours. Depending on the report and depending on the time that you view it. So if you place an order, wait a couple hours and then check to see if it flowed through to your report. And if it hasn't, just give it some time and check back with it, because our data warehouse loads every hour, but then the Tableau server has to lift it into their server every hour as well. So it can be up to 2 hours old. So just kind of give it some time, but it'll all be here by your overrides coming from each downline, your lifestyle bonus, retail sales bonus, and then it'll all total up for your final override down there. Now at the bottom, you've got your active downline counts at each one of your downline levels. So you're going to notice that you've got your active first level count and your active first level promo count underneath that. So for anybody that's new to the business, that promo count is for your promotion. So you can only promote based on people that you've personally recruited into your first downline to count toward that active count. Now, the requirements for senior consultants or above in your downline to move up to a higher recognition title, those can be roll-ups, but the first downline active consultant requirement, those can only be people who you've personally sponsored. Now, roll-ups, so if your sponsor was in my first downline and then they went inactive and they went to friends and family and then they went inactive from there, then you would roll up into my first downline. So just for anybody that's unfamiliar with that terminology, because we'll be using that term quite a bit. So that first level count is that includes roll-ups. The promo count does not. So then you've got your second through fourth level counts, and then at the bottom there you've got your senior consultant downline count. So that's people in your first downline, like I said, also including roll-ups that are at senior consultant or above recognition title. And then at the very bottom there you've got your first downline. It says FNF count. That's your friends and family. So keep in mind those friends and family, they're not inactive, but they're also not active. So they're not counting toward your title maintenance or your promotion. So you can look at this person whose report we're looking at right now as an example. They have 8 people. So maybe they're getting towards the end of their 3-month rolling title requirement time period, and they need to get more active people into the business. They know I've got 8 people who used to be in the business. Maybe they can reheat, get back into their business. Maybe they just took a step back for a second for life reasons. It could be any number of reasons why they would have taken a step back, but you've got 8 people who at least were interested at one point in pursuing being a consultant. So you can reach out to them and see if they're interested in getting back into it. So very useful report that people use on a very, very consistent basis and oftentimes daily. So we definitely encourage you to be looking at that. So the next one that we're going to look at is recognition title maintenance that I was talking about before. So obviously there are a lot of perks that go with your recognition title. Your recognition title determines your buy-in discount. It unlocks higher paid-at levels, and there's on the screen right now your first downline active consultant count, and then your first downline senior consultant count that you need in order to go up those recognition titles. So now keep in mind for maintenance, like I said, promo counts, the people who you personally sponsored, those are the only people that count toward you promoting up a title and unlocking those higher paid-at levels and buying discounts. But anybody who has rolled up to you can help you maintain. So they won't help you promote, but they'll help you maintain if they're roll-ups. So the recognition title maintenance report can be found, it's the second report down on the left-hand side of the landing page where you can find all the other reports. Just as kind of a good note, the way this is organized, because there's quite a bit of content out there that we want people to be able to find pretty easily, the left-hand side has all of your personal business reports. So if you're looking at your personal recognition title maintenance, your overrides, your order history, things have to do with your business, it'll be on the left-hand side. If you're looking at incentive trackers, you're trying to track yourself toward positions of prestige, a Q1 contest, anything like that, those will be found in the middle column. And then any report that goes kind of line by line showing everybody in your downline and whether it's performance, if it's faster, anything like that, any team-based reports will be on the right-hand side. So it's just kind of a good way to keep in mind how these are organized so you can navigate to the report that you're looking for as quickly as possible. So when you open the recognition title maintenance dashboard, this is what it looks like. So we designed all of these as simplistic as possible. We wanted to make these reports so that you can glance at it, absorb the information you're looking for, and then move on with your day, move on with your business, and not spend time being bogged down in reports. So this person who we're looking at right now, obviously you need to requalify for your recognition title every 3 months. So you got to make sure that your downline counts satisfy the requirements for your current title. So I need to have including roll-ups to maintain. This isn't for promotion. In order to maintain, I need to have my downline counts, my active first downline counts in order, and my senior consultant counts in order once every 3 months at least. To make sure that I don't drop down a title. So this is where you track that. So this person has 79 days left to qualify for their current title. So they're kind of in that month 1 time period where they just qualified last month. That clock resets every time that you requalify. So if you get to the end of the month and you have enough people to requalify and satisfy those maintenance requirements, the date will reset to the end of that month that you just ended, and this clock will reset as well from that 3-month time period. So next down on the left-hand side, it shows your current recognition title, the last date that you qualified for it. So this person last locked in their requirements on October 13th. Now that will be today's date, rolling forward every day if you currently are sitting at enough people. But this person though was October 13th. So they're a director. They need 9 people in order to stay at that level. They have 8. So they have 1 person that they need to get back into their business within 79 days in order to stay at their recognition title. Far right-hand side, the number of senior consultants and above. Again, that can include roll-ups as well for maintenance, but also for promotion. But they don't need any in this case, so it's just 0 out of 0. Congratulations, they've fulfilled that requirement. So. Next up, we wanted to go ahead and talk about recognition title maintenance if you currently have qualified for it. So this person is a senior executive director. They've got 79 out of their 40 active first downline requirement and 17 out of the 10 senior consultant or above requirement. So you'll see that the clock, since it's in the current month where they've already requalified, that new date will get locked in at the end of the month. It just will say currently qualified, and then the clock will reset the next month once you're in the next 3-month period of when they need to requalify for that. So next we're going to go ahead and we are going to talk about advancement. So anybody that's in Pure Romance, you know that you don't care necessarily about maintenance. You want to be building a career. You want to be earning more money. You want to be fulfilling your why. You're pursuing those dreams of why you got into Pure Romance in the first place. So talking about building your team, advancing levels, and growing your business. So the place to track that, it's actually in the same dashboard. It's just going to be underneath where the recognition title maintenance is. So this is where you can track your advancement on the screen here. So you'll notice it's just 2 bullet charts is what we call those. So the first one is the first downline active consultant count. This person has fulfilled that requirement. They only needed 30. They've got 40 right now. So they're at 133% of that requirement in order to promote up. So again, keep in mind, this is the promotion count that you'll find in your business details report. So people who you personally recruited. Now, first downline senior consultant count, that can again be net of roll-ups, but this person currently has 4. They need 6 in order to advance titles. So that donut chart on the left-hand side basically just aggregates these 2 criteria in order to promote up. So this person overall, they need those 2 extra senior consultants. They're 83% there because they've already got the first downline requirement. So this just kind of gives you a good way of kind of keeping your finger on the pulse of where you stand in promoting to the next title. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to paid at level tracking. So we all care about how we're going to get paid in a given month. So you've got to be tracking actively your personal retail sales, your first downline retail sales, and then your group retail sales overall in order to know where you're going to get locked in on the paid at levels that you're eligible for with your given recognition title. So in order to track that, we put a report on here. It can be found. It's 3rd down on the left-hand side of the reporting landing page. And it's a very simple report. We wanted to make it just very digestible. Again, just be able to look at and absorb the information at a glance. It looks a lot like the recognition title advancement report. So you've got your 3 KPIs there in those bullet charts. You've got your retail sales, your personal sales. You've got your first down retail sales in the middle, and then you've got your group sales at the bottom. So this person, if you look up at the top, their current earned month to date paid at level is level 5. The highest that they can get paid right now is level 6. So that's a good way to know, okay, is there a bit more room for me to grow? Can I be earning more this month? And where am I kind of falling short at the moment right now? And then you can also on the upper right-hand side see where you got paid last month. So this person finished last month getting paid at level 5. So in that way you can kind of keep in mind, okay, what did my most recent override check look like? What paid at level drove that, and what would it look like if I got the higher paid at level? So this person, they need to get. They've absolutely gotten their retail sales requirement. They've got $6,000 so far, so they're 175% past that. You can see in the middle one, that little black line, they've also gone past their requirement for first downline retail sales. To get up to the next available paid at level, they're at 267% of that requirement. But where they're falling short is their overall group retail sales. So they're only at 75%. This person with their given paid-at level, they need to have 40,000 in group retail sales in order to get that next up paid-at level. So overall, again, on the donut chart on the left-hand side, it aggregates to that 92% that you're seeing. So you can just kind of keep a good idea of where you stand against your goals. So next up, we're going to go ahead and talk about retail sales bonus. So we're really excited about this one. Everybody who was here prior to 2018 remembers that the retail sales bonus, it used to just be that you got 2.5% back anytime that you did over $10,000 in a given month. Well, now we've actually completely restructured that and given a lot more opportunity to learn a lot, or to earn a lot more money through this new retail sales bonus program. So the new structure looks like this, what you've got on the screen. You've probably seen this chart quite a bit. So your recognition title on the left, and then you can see on the right all of the levels that you can receive at retail sales bonus for achieving retail sales in a given month. So anyone who's a director and below, they can get 2.5% back now for doing $5,000 retail sales in a month. So again, it used to be $10,000 to get 2.5% back. Now, if you're a director or below, you only have to do $5,000 in order to get that percent back. So next up, we've got every single recognition title is able to get the next one up, which is $7,500. So if you have a month where you do $7,500 in retail sales, you're now getting 5% back. So that's a great opportunity to earn a lot more money and really bolster your income. So finally, we've got 10,000 and 20,000. The 10,000 again, it used to only be 2.5% back. It's now 10% back every time that you do that $10,000. You're gonna be getting at least $1,000 back every single time that you have a month where you do over 10,000. And then once you are a super overachiever and you get that $20,000 mark, you're getting 15% back. So it's a really great way to earn a lot more money through this new compensation plan. We want to give you a place where you can track all of this pretty easily. So this can be found, it's the 5th down report on the left-hand side of the report landing page called Retail Sales Bonus. And it's very simple when you look at it. So upper left-hand corner, again, you got your recognition title. This person is an executive director. Their retail sales bonus that they've earned month to date. So if the month were to end right now at the moment that they're viewing the report, they would be getting back $1,488 for the retail sales bonus. So in the middle, you can see that this person has done $14,882 month to date in sales. So they've crossed that $10,000 threshold. The next threshold up is $20,000. And on the right-hand side, it shows how much more they need in retail sales to achieve that threshold and get that 15% back. So bottom left-hand corner, just kind of a visualization of where you stand against that upcoming goal, just so you can kind of have a good idea. This person's 74% there. And then on the right bottom-hand side, you can see each month, year to date, what you have earned each month in the retail sales bonus. So good way to just kind of keep tracking, like, oh, I had a lot more money last month. Oh yeah, it's because I got that huge retail sales bonus check. I want to do that again, So it's a good place to kind of keep in mind, what's driving your override check, where you stand toward that same goal in the current month. So it's a great one to be checking in on pretty regularly. So the next one we're going to talk about is override. So most people are usually curious on how they're going to be getting paid at any given time. So this report is the 4th down on the left-hand side. So the override report, when you get into it, this is what it looks like. It is a visualization by downline level. So you can kind of see a trend line. You can track that seasonality. You can see if your retail sales of each one of your downlines is kind of following the same trajectory. That way you can kind of just eyeball and be able to tell if maybe one of your downlines might be starting to slow down and get off course, and then you can kind of use that as a way to pinpoint coaching opportunities with your downline. So up at the top, you can see overall the overrides for the current month that you have earned so far off of each one of your downlines, so you can know where your money is coming from so far month to date. So now, when you look at this, you might think, okay, this is all pretty, this is all well and good. Charts are always great, but I just care about the numbers. How do I just get to the numbers? So in the bottom right-hand corner of any one of the reports that you look at on the COO, there's a download button. So when you click it, there's going to be 4 options that should be available: PDF, crosstab, data, and image. Now, if you just look at the report, this is just kind of an important note about how Tableau works. So if you look at a dashboard, it might look like it's just one table, but in reality, most of the time it's actually a combination of a bunch of tables put into one visualization. So you need to basically click somewhere and just click anywhere on one of the tables that you're trying to download to basically tell Tableau, this is the table I'm looking at. So in the overrides report example, that upper strip where it says what you've earned month to date in each one of your downloads, that's a different table than the chart that shows kind of those trend lines by downline level. So if you click anywhere in that chart, if you want the data that's driving it, then you click download after that, and you'll see that crosstab is now available. If you don't click somewhere in that table, crosstab and data will both be grayed out. We've gotten a lot of questions on that. So if that's grayed out, it means you need to click the table just anywhere on it so that you're telling Tableau what you want to download. So once you click crosstab, so that will download an Excel file. So crosstab actually stands for cross tabulation. Just for those of you that are interested, it's essentially Latin for not breaking copyright law. They're not allowed to use the word Excel. I guess Microsoft doesn't want Tableau to say that, but if you're looking for an Excel file, crosstab is what you're looking for. So if you look at the screen down in the bottom right-hand corner, this is how it looks when you download this particular report. Now, when you download it, it'll be unformatted. I've kind of cleaned up that formatting to make it more readable for the sake of this, but that's how the data will come out laid out. So that way you can just download it for your records, save it off, maybe just have it saved to your desktop or one of your folders, so in that way you can just kind of keep a running just backup of where you were in each month, where your overrides were coming from, or any other report that you want to be downloading. But that's what you want to do, is download to crosstab. So now we'll move on to almost friends and family. So anybody who was here prior to 2018 is very familiar with this report, because it used to be you had to do $200 every 2 months to remain active, otherwise you would lose your downline. But now it is $200 every 2 months to stay out of friends and family. So there's a lot of perks to friends and family for those of you that haven't really been reading everything about it so far. As long as you do those $200 every 2 months, you can stay out of it. But if you do kind of have a lull in your business and you take a step back maybe, and you don't get that $200 within 2 months, then you'll fall to friends and family. Now, at this state, you're not quite an active consultant, but you don't go inactive. You don't lose your team. You can still sell on your website. You can still purchase products, all that kind of good stuff. And also, more importantly, you still have your website. So people can still buy a product through your personal website. And you can earn commissions on that, but you just won't earn overrides off of your downlines. So just kind of keep that in mind. And again, to get out of it, you just have to do $200 in retail sales. But we want to give you a place to track all of the people in your first downline and see who's at risk of falling to friends and family, because again, those people aren't quite active, so they don't help to bolster your recognition title, help you promote, anything like that. But you will still also earn overrides off of their downlines, so as the friends and family consultant sponsor. So, but we want to make sure that we're staying on top of everybody so that they're engaged in their business and that they don't fall to friends and family. So we want to give you a place where you can track that. If you look at the reports on the right-hand side, now we're shifting over to team reports. Almost Friends and Family is the 5th down report. And it looks like this when you open it. Again, looks very familiar to anybody who remembers the Almost Inactive report. You've got it listed by your downline level. You can filter up in the upper left-hand corner to a specific downline if you have a very large team and you want to just focus on one particular downline. Then it's organized by consultant current title. So if you have somebody that's a senior executive director who's about to fall to friends and family, you might want to reach out to them and see, why are you kind of slowing down? Is there something going on? Is there something I can help with? Good, coachable moment. But it's organized in that hierarchy down to advanced consultants. So the person whose report we're looking at on the screen right now, they only have advanced consultants that are at risk of falling. But that'll be how it's organized if you have upper level people that are at risk of falling to friends and family. So on the left-hand side, you've got days until FNF, so that's days until friends and family. Every 2 calendar months, you have to do that $200. Then you've got your retail for the prior month and your retail for the current month. And then it basically does the math for you to show you how much of the $200 they still have to do. So all the people on this screen still have a full $200 to do. So now on the right-hand side are two columns that we actually added that were not in the old almost inactive report. Your career retail sales and then days in business. Because if there's somebody that's been with you for 10 years and they've done hundreds of thousands of dollars in retail sales for your business, they might be a bit more concerning to see on this list, and you might want to reach out more quickly to those people to see why they're kind of taking a step back from their business. But it's a good way to kind of keep in mind how new to the business somebody is, especially when you have a very large team and it's kind of hard to track. So you can find all that on this report. But wait, there's more. So anybody who has not been playing these reports, just so you know, there are things called tooltips. So if you have your mouse, if you're on desktop and you hover over any data point, we have limited screen real estate to add to these reports. So items like contact information, sponsor information if it's somebody in your second, third, or fourth downline, that kind of stuff. We couldn't really fit into the report, so we did it through these tooltips. So if you're on your desktop and you move your mouse over any data points, you can see more information about the consultant who you're looking at the data for, what their phone number is, their email address, their sponsor's contact information, all that kind of stuff. Now also keep in mind that when you download to Crosstab, any hidden data that's in those tooltips will actually download as if they were a column with the rest of the report. So if you're trying to do a call list and take notes on the people that you reached out to in a given report, you can kind of just go down the list and make phone calls, take notes, save it in Excel. That's the way we would recommend to do that. So new team members report. We wanted to show you all the people that are brand new to your business. You want to make sure that they're hitting fast track. You want to make sure that they're booking their parties, all that kind of stuff. So if you've got a very large team and you want to be staying on top of all these people, this is the report that you'd want to be looking at. So it's found kind of toward the bottom of the right-hand side of the report landing page in the team reports section. So this is what the report looks like when you open it up. So up in the upper left-hand corner, you've got your downline filter and your days in business filter. So the downline filter is a drop-down. You can it'll default to all of your downlines, but you can again look at specific downlines. Maybe you want to see who is new into your second downline, see who their sponsors are, and talk to them about how they're working on coaching these new consultants in the business. Or maybe you just want to look at your first downline. So you can isolate them that way. Also, you've got the days in business filter. So this is a type-in field. It'll default to 60 days, but this is how many days from the kit purchase date it's isolating. So anybody who is within 60 days of starting their business will be in this report by default. You can change this to 90, 120, whatever you want to regard as a new consultant, and filter to specifically those people. Now, when you look at the report itself, you're going to notice again it's organized by downline level. So, and then it's organized by consultant name alphabetically. So you can see kind of over in the middle of the report what their status is. So you can look at who is not yet activated, who's active, and kind of like tailor your coaching and your calls that way and how you're reaching out to these people and working with them. Then you've got career retail sales and then days since kit purchase. So again, all these people that are being displayed right now, they're within 60 days of their kit purchase date. But you can see the people at the top, they've got they're 7 days in. You can just kind of keep a good track of how new these people are. So again, it shows on the screen right now an example of a tooltip that's being shown. So we've got this all kind of redacted. Those black bars are just kind of keeping this report anonymous for the sake of this presentation, but it'll display at the top the consultant's name, their sponsor under that, their current level, their kit purchase date, and then their contact information, and then those days since purchasing their kit. So if you want to reach out to them, that's where you can find their contact information. So that's the new team members report. Next, we're going to talk about team parties. So this is a very important one that you want to be actively tracking. So you want to make sure that people are actively putting parties into the system, that they've got their weekend booked, that you're kind of staying on top of them, making sure that they're staying consistent in their business. So when you open it up, this is what it looks like. So you've got it organized again by downline level. You've got their consultant ID, the consultant's names, and then how many parties they have booked and how much retail has happened from the parties that have occurred within the time period that you're looking at. Now, the time period filter is up in the upper right-hand corner. It's called start date. It's the party start date. So I don't know how many of you have multiple day parties, but that's what it's called. It's referred to as the start date. So if you want to isolate parties from just a specific time period, this is where you would go ahead and filter to that. So it'll always default to the current month, but you can go ahead and click it, and on the screen there it's showing you what it looks like when you click this filter. So it's very flexible. You'll see at the top there's years, quarters, months, weeks, and days. So it'll default to months, and then you see under that you can select previous month, this month, next month if you want to see how many they've got booked for the next month, or on the right hand side you can say the last 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, or the next 3 months, whatever you want to do. It's a very flexible filter, and if you choose weeks, days, anything like that, you can do the same thing, this week, previous week, so on and so on. So keep in mind how to be filtering to that and what time period you're actually looking at. So this report can be found again right hand side in the team reports, kind of midway down. It's called Team Parties. And then also it houses the team party calendar report as well. So they're both under the same link. Just click that team parties and you'll find the team party calendar as well. So this can be a very difficult thing to track. So we want to give you as many options as we could in order to make sure that your consultants are booking their parties and kind of feel like you're herding kittens. I've got my little fun animation in there, but we want to give you an easy way to track all of their parties and who's partying on what days. So like I said, it can be found on the same dashboard as team parties, but also it does have its own link. There's kind of a redundancy there. Click either one, it'll just change which one it opens to. But at the top, there is a slider on this report where you can just kind of bounce between the two reports without having to go back to the landing page. So when you open it up, again, organized by first downline, second downline, third downline, and then by hierarchy of consultant title. You would expect people that are more advanced in their business to have a more full calendar, so that's why we wanted to go ahead and organize it that way. So then you'll see it's kind of a horizontal view. This report's showing December 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and then how many parties each person has booked on each day. So you'll notice that one person down there has kind of middle of the pack, they've got 2 parties on December 9th. So if you want to reach out to them, kind of coach them like, oh, are you doing an afternoon and an evening party? Have you ever done 2 parties in a day? Like, do you need any assistance with it? Kind of a good way to see if anybody's keeping their schedule very full or who isn't partying on a given day. So you can reach out and say, do you have parties booked? Do you just not put them in the system? Just kind of be able to stay on top of people and make sure that they are keeping those good habits going and staying consistent. Finally, on the right-hand side, you've got the grand total of all the days in the time period you're looking at. It'll default to the current week. But again, it's the same kind of filter as the other parties report where it's all relative and you can say this week, last week, this month, whatever you want to do, but it'll default to this week. So just kind of mind your filters and make sure that you're aware of what you're filtered to. So next up, we're going to go ahead and talk about team management details. So this is actually a really important report that a lot of people are viewing on a daily basis. And if you've got a downline, you really need to be looking at this pretty consistently. So we wanted to make sure that we put it in the biggest place of prominence since it is so important. It's at the very top of those team reports on the right-hand side of your report landing page. So when you open it up, this is what it looks like. It's going to default to the current month. It's going to be organized by downline level, and then it's going to default to being highest to lowest by retail sales amount. So you've got moving over, you've got the downline level, the consultant's full name, their recognition title, their status, and then whether or not they're a roll-up. Because if they're not a roll-up, if you've personally sponsored them, you want to make sure that they're staying engaged and all that, and actively recruit. You want to make sure that you're promoting up and you're not losing those people who are also driving your retail sales kicker bonus if you recruited them in 2018 or onward. So it's a good way to just look at whether or not they're a roll-up. So you've got the 3 KPIs, those key performance indicators that are driving paid at levels are all listed on this report. So you got each person's retail sales, their first downline retail sales, their group retail amount, and then their activated recruits. So you can kind of keep a good eye on where they are in the month with their current title there and where they're kind of tracking towards on their paid at level. So up at the top, you've got your date filters. So the first one is the date filter. It's going to default to the current month. You can select multiple months at one given time, select a different month, whatever you want to do. You can do that through this drop-down menu. So the next up that you have over to next to there is the downline filter, like in most of the other reports. You can filter to a specific specific recognition title. Maybe you want to focus on coaching your senior consultants to try to get them up to that associate director, that director level, work with them to continue promoting. You can isolate specific recognition titles. And then finally, on the right-hand side of those filters, you've got is roll-up. So you can select that yes or no, whether or not you're viewing. It'll default to all, but maybe you want to just look at your personal recruits or the people who have rolled up to you. Maybe you're kind of unfamiliar with their business if they've rolled up to you and you have a rather large team and you haven't spent much time with them. You can kind of get familiarized with those people's businesses for any given time period that you want to select and look at. So it's a very important report. We also have recently added at the time of this filming a new piece to this team management details report. On the right-hand side of the slider at the top of the report, you'll see up on the screen there, it's called Team Downline Overview. So if you click that, you can view each person in your downlines their team management details. So this was an old report that a lot of people used in the old system. So this is where you find this new report in the new one. So when you open it up, it'll look like this. So there's kind of a lot to look at. The first thing to notice is up in the upper right-hand corner, it's just kind of a key of everybody in your downline and their consultant ID. You can, up at the type-in bar in that little box, you can start typing in a name and it'll filter to just a specific person. But if you need to look up their consultant ID, that's important because if you look on the left-hand side, that little black box where I've got kind of blacked out there, you type that consultant ID in there for the person you're looking for, and that's how you populate this report with that person's downlines, so you can view what they can see through their team line, their team downline, their team management details. So maybe you want to have a coaching call with them and say, what are you doing to work with so and so in your first downline? They're showing a lot of promise. This is a very powerful tool for doing that. So that was a big report that a lot of people have used in the past, and we want to make sure that we still gave that to you. So the next one's kind of along the same lines, team business details. This report can be found under the new team members report on the right-hand side of the landing page. This allows you to view anybody in your downline's business details report as if you were that person. So up in the upper left-hand corner, there's a drop-down menu where it'll show every single consultant that has ever been in your downline. So keep in mind it includes inactive consultants, friends and family, active, whatever the case is. You can type in a name, it'll isolate a specific person. You can select them, and then this report will populate for that for the time period that's also in that filter up in the upper right-hand corner. So very powerful report. Wanted to make sure everybody's aware of where you can find that. It used to be a drill down through the old team management details. It's just its own report now. So so it's a great one to be using and staying on top of pretty regularly. So next up, we're going to talk about heavy hitters. So the heavy hitters report is pretty much what it sounds like. It's a place to see who your biggest selling consultants are, whether it's the biggest personal sales, whether it's the biggest recruiters, who are your people driving your team. So this report can be found fourth up from the bottom of the team reports landing page. And it looks like this when you open it up. So it's going to default to including all your downlines. It's going to default to the current year, and it's going to default that performance metric up in the middle of the filters there. You can select that drop-down menu and select retail sales, recruit activations, or group retail. So that's the metric that everybody's being kind of sorted on, highest to lowest. And then in the right-hand side, you've got performance calc. So this is an important field to pay attention to. It'll default to actual performance, but you can also do year-over-year percentage and year-over-year actual numbers growth. So you can see, okay, this person that's at the top of this given report has done 1,300 in retail sales. Okay, that's all relative. That might be really good for that person. Maybe it's not huge, but it might be huge for them, or maybe they're declining a little bit. So that's when you'd want to look at that year-over-year growth option in that filter, so you can see, okay, well, how'd they do in January last year, for this given report. So very useful tool to use. And then that brings us, speaking of useful, custom recognition. So this is a very multifaceted, multi-use tool that we put out there. So it's kind of middle of the pack on the team reports landing page. So when you open it up, it'll look like this. So the important thing to pay attention to is the time periods, the thresholds, all that kind of stuff. Those filters up at the top, because it's very customizable. So it's going to look at a custom date period. So you've got to choose a beginning date and an end date. So a lot of you have complained about the slider on the dates. I'm right there with you. It's very sensitive and finicky. We don't want you to use it. We're actually at the time of filming this working on getting rid of it, on finding a workaround to eliminate that. But we don't want you messing with the slider. filter, click the dates themselves. So in this instance, the minimum date we're looking at is January 1st, 2018, and then the maximum date is January 30th, 2018. So we're displaying data from that time period. If you click one of those dates, it opens a little calendar view. So that's a much easier way of selecting the start date and the end date, so you can isolate a specific time period. We'll get rid of the slider in the near future. Don't mess with it. So while it's still there, though. So retail sales thresholds, that's the next filter that we want to call attention to. You can click that number where it'll default to 0, but you can say, only show me people that in this time period I've selected have done at least $500 or $5,000, whatever you want to put in there, but it'll default to 0, but you can set a minimum threshold to filter out anybody that has not hit a specific metric. This is really useful if you're running a contest where it's a you do, you get, anything like that. So this is a great tool to use for contesting and incentives in your downline. So, and then to the right of that, you've got the downline level filter and the current level filter to look at a specific recognition title if maybe you want to run a contest just for your advanced consultants or anything like that. So when you look at it, it's going to be, it's got your name on the left, you've got the person's consultant ID, their status, what their current level is, what downline they're in, so that's an important thing. This is the one report that isn't filtered or isn't organized first by downline level, so it aggregates everybody that you've selected. So if you've made that downline level filter all, it's going to be a mix of all your downlines. So you might have someone in your 4th downline in first place. So keep that in mind. But it's a very useful tool for running multi-level contesting as well. So then you've got your retail sales. This will obviously change if you select up at the very top. You can. We're looking at the retail report. You can look at activations recognition, group sales recognition, or party, but this will be organized highest to lowest by the performers that satisfy all the criteria in the time period that you've selected. So again, tool tips, you got your contact information in there so you can reach out, congratulate people for doing really well in a month, anything that you would want to reach out to them for. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go past the activations recognition and group retail sales recognition, just because they're very much the same mechanics as the retail sales recognition dashboard, and we're going to look at parties recognition. So the party recognition dashboard is still going to be the same principles of highest to lowest for the given metrics that you've selected. It's still an aggregation of all your downline levels that you've included, but the filters are a little bit different. So party origination is the top filter on this one. So what that is you can isolate parties how they were booked. So it'll default to all, but maybe you want to encourage the use of pure sale in your downlines. So you can select, only show me people whose parties were in pure sale. Maybe you want to do a contest for pure sale usage, or you can select only parties that were entered through the COO, but it'll default to that all option. But just know that you can filter in that way. So then you can filter to specific downlines. It'll default to all, and then that minimum and maximum date range. You can select how you want to. Be filtering for a time period there. Also, party count minimum and retail sales minimums. That'll default to 1 party, so it won't show people with 0 parties in the time period that you're looking at. You can ratchet that up to whatever you want to be if you're running a contest. Again, that's if you do you get. And the party retail sales, that's not retail sales of what they've ordered from us. That's what they've sold in parties. So keep that in mind. So the person at the top of this list has had 11 parties within the time period that's been selected, and they've done $7,852 in in-party retail sales. Use that as a powerful tool for encouraging booking parties and making sure they're logging their retail, because the more information you have flowing in there, if they're using pure sale, the more information you have to coach them as their sponsor. So it's a great tool to encourage that usage of pure sale. So next up, we're going to talk about team recognition title tracking. This report will give you one place to find all your people in your downline, where they stand with their maintenance requirements and their promotion requirements to get up to that next recognition title. So this can be found right underneath the team management details report at the top of the landing page under the team reports section. When you open it up, this is what it looks like. So it's just a very simple table, just lists everybody in your downline, what their current recognition title is, and then we've got 4 columns with downline counts here. So the first 2 columns are organized so that it shows the first downline recruits needed to maintain their level. So if currently they satisfy the requirements for a first downline active count, they don't need to, then it'll be a 0. They don't need to recruit any more people to maintain. If they need any senior consultants, it'll tell you how many they need there to maintain. And then over on the right-hand side, you've got your promotion counts. So how many people do you need to recruit in order to get up to the next title? How many senior consultants do you need in order to get up to that next title? So you can kind of eyeball like, okay, I've got to get 2 people promoted up to that senior consultant level to get to that next level up. So now, when you look at it, you're going to notice that there are red lines. So that is an easy way to call out shortfalls against maintenance. So this person here, their line is red because they need 3 people in order to maintain their current recognition title. Now, again, they have that 3-month rolling time period, but that just points out that they do have a requirement that hasn't been met yet. If you use the tooltip, it'll tell you how long they have until they will fall if they don't get that requirement satisfied. So very easy to use. Next up, we've got Team Fast Track. So when you look at this report, it's on the middle of the pack, kind of on the Team Reports right-hand side of that landing page. When you open it up, this is what it looks like. So it's kind of more of a visualization because there are multiple requirements for multiple levels of fast track. This is just kind of the easiest way to present it. So it's going to be organized by downline level. Again, you can filter to a specific one if you want to, but it's going to be organized though by closest to fast track completion or the most fast tracks completed to the lowest. So if you look at the key up in the upper right-hand corner there, it shows you the circle will tell you if they've accomplished level 1, which is of course $1,000 in retail sales within their first 60 days. If they've hit level 2, getting that $2,000 in retail in their first 60 days, they get a little check mark. And then it's not shown in this particular report, but it'll be a filled-in circle though if they've gotten fast track 3. So they've gotten that $2,000 and they've gotten that recruit requirement as well. So until they actually accomplish one of those though, it'll be that X for none. They haven't accomplished any of those fast track levels yet. So in this report, if you look the last column over that's not consultant information, you got their name, then you see their days in business from their kit ship date. So the person at the top, they've been in business for 7 days. They've done over $1,000 in retail sales, so they have a little that little O showing that they've accomplished that fast track level 1. They've gotten that free product satisfied. They'll be receiving that. So if you look in these next downline down, you'll also notice that it's color coordinated, so you can kind of eyeball where it shifts to the next downline level. So those gold bars is in this person's third downline. So their first person looks like they've got $2,328 in retail sales. They've been in business for 7 days. They've got that little check mark because they've satisfied fast track level 2. Now, if you hover over that and you use the tooltip, it'll tell you how many recruits they've got and how close they are to getting that fast track level 3 as well. So very useful report to use in tracking those first 60 days in business. So next up, we're going to talk about team retail sales bonus tracking. So we already showed you where you can track your own retail sales bonus and what you've earned month to date, what the next threshold is. We wanted to give you that same kind of report for your downline members. So if you're looking for the team retail sales bonus tracker, it's the 4th down report on the right-hand side of the landing page. When you open it up, it's going to look like this. It's just a very simplistic report. Gives you each person within your downline levels. You can filter to specific recognition titles, specific downlines, but it's going to default to show everybody. It's going to show you what their current recognition title is, what country they're in, which is important because if you're one of our Canadian consultants or a US consultant with Canadian downline members, their thresholds are slightly different because it is adjusted for that exchange rate. You don't want to encourage them like, oh, you're about to hit the $5,000 threshold when their threshold is slightly higher. So keep in mind whether it says USA or Canada if you do have that cross-border sponsorship in your downline. So when you open it up though, it's going to default to show the highest to lowest monthly sales amount. That's their personal retail sales. So the first person on here, national director in the US, they've got $15,792 so far month to date in personal retail. The bonus calculation, that shows you with the thresholds that you've already hit so far in the month, if the month were to end today, what would you earn in retail sales bonus? So this person has crossed that $10,000 mark, so they're getting 10% back, so that $1,579 is what they would receive if the month were to end today. So retail to the next bonus, their next one up is that $20,000 threshold, so they have $4,208 left to do before they hit that. So you can use this as a very easy way of coaching, especially when you see people that are like the one that's midway down this report, the advanced director, who's at $9,999.50. It would be a shame if they fell 50 cents short of getting that 10% back at that $10,000 threshold. So if you're getting toward the end of the month, you've got one weekend left, make sure that you're talking to people that are getting really close to make sure that they're aware of how much money they would be leaving on the table. Maybe they need to place a retail order, but they just haven't yet. Make sure that they get those in, because it is a lot of money that can be earned through this program. Now, the next one we are going to talk about is team buying discount progression. So team buying discount progression, this is a way to monitor how people are doing in relation to their buying discount with their career retail sales and their recognition title. So when you look at this, it's the third report down on the team reports tab on the right-hand side. When you open it up, here's how it's going to look. Just got it organized by downline level. You've got their consultant ID and name, their recognition title, what their current buying discount is, and then how many first downline recruits they need for the next level, and how many first downline senior consultants that they need for the next title up as well, because that is another way to progress through the buying discounts in addition to career retail sales. So just keep in mind, if you're new to Pure Romance and you're watching this video, if once you do $1,000 in retail sales, you will go up to 35% from the 30% that you start at as your buying discount. Once you hit $2,000 in career retail sales, then you go up to 40%. So you just keep that in mind. If you've got that 30%, get up to that 2,000, and then you'll enjoy a much higher buying discount at that 40%. So this is a great tracker to be able to encourage your teams. Like, oh, you're on the verge of getting a higher buying discount. Great for coaching in that regard. So the next up report we're going to talk about is team birthdays and anniversaries. So we know that everybody likes to recognize people for their anniversary with Pure Romance. They like to celebrate with them for their birthday. So we want to give you an easy place to find where who's having a birthday or an anniversary in a given month, and you can find that report toward the bottom of the team reports part of the landing page on the My Reports tab. So when you look at it, it'll default to the current month. It's organized by downline level, and then how early in the month, earliest to latest of birthday or anniversary date that you've got. First person on this list, first downline member, they're turned 31 years old on January 4th. You've got what their recognition title is, and then all their information for if you wanted to mail them a package, send them a letter, anything like that, wishing them a happy birthday. So it'll default to the current month. You can select any month that you want to. Maybe you want to look a month or two ahead. Be preparing for what you're going to be sending out to everybody. And then also you can filter under calendar. It's going to default to birthday, but this is where you can select anniversary, so you can switch between those two reports so you can see who's celebrating an anniversary in the month that you've selected. So next up, we've got team level advancements. So in addition to celebrating birthdays and anniversaries with people, we want to celebrate milestones in their their businesses as well. So when somebody gets up to a new recognition title for the first time, you want to make sure that you're celebrating them, making sure that you're helping them build their business even further. Because when you do go from advanced consultant to senior consultant to associate director, each one of those milestones, you kind of enter a new part of your business, and you're going to face new challenges with that. You're transitioning very much into a team leader from just managing your own business. So it gives you a good idea of people that you're going to be needing to work with differently, teaching them kind of how to manage their own teams and all that. So this is a great tool to be regularly checking in on. Team level advancements, it's toward the bottom of the team reports part of the landing page. When you open it up, it's going to look like this. So it will. The level change date is you can filter to the month that you want to focus on when they actually made their level change. You can filter to first-time advancement or any advancement. So if maybe they've just gotten up to director for the first time, then you'd want to select first time as your filter on that. But you can select all. If maybe they fell back down, they sat at advanced consultant for a long time, but they got back up to director. You still want to celebrate with them and work with them on getting their business building again. So whatever the case may be for the given person, just kind of gives you a good idea if they've hit that level before or if it's their first time elevating up to that. So then also, again, you can filter to specific downline levels and specific recognition titles. By default, when someone activates into the business, technically they have leveled up to advanced consultant. So you can select, you don't want to be flooded with everybody hitting advanced consultant for the first time. You can select director, any level that you want to target if you've had level advances in the time period you're looking at. So when you look at it, it's going to be organized by downline level. Then you've got it organized alphabetically by name. And then it tells you the effective date. That's the date that they actually shifted over to their new level and they advanced. And then LA level, that's the level advanced level. So that's the recognition title that they move to. So again, like I said, it's going to include advanced consultants on here. You can filter those out, but that's what's being shown on this screenshot here. Then you've got all their address information, all that. Maybe you want to send them something, an informational. Maybe you have informational packets on coaching, stuff like that. Maybe it's just a card to say congrats on leveling up. But you can find all their shipping information so that you can mail something to them as well. So those are the main reports that we wanted to talk about today. But there's a lot that I didn't get a chance to talk about. There's a lot of content out there. There's tons of tools, lots of awesome ways to be able to analyze your team and look at how to grow even better. But we couldn't cover all of it in this video. So if you have any questions about any of the dashboards we didn't talk about, if you have suggestions for other dashboards to add, if you think they'd be useful, we'd love to hear your suggestions or questions. Finance@pureromance.com is how you can reach out to us. Just shoot us an email. Let us know if you have just questions or suggestions, anything like that. We'd love to work with you on that. Also, just again, as a reminder, if you missed anything in the video, the table of contents is at the bottom of this YouTube video. If you're watching on YouTube, you can go down there and you can select a specific section about a specific report. If you're looking for just very specific information, I know that you probably want to listen to my voice all day long, but it is a pretty long presentation on these reports, so you can just kind of go to the piece that you're looking for with that menu. So again, finance@pureromance.com. Looking forward to working with everybody here in 2018, and good luck.